So I was screen recording and observing a TikTok live. Want to see how it went?
7. Well, I guess I'm white.
And do you agree or disagree with the topic, bro?
Unfortunately, because I feel like I'm about to get some heat for saying it, I disagree.
No, white, bro. You're not gonna get no heat, bro.
Spoiler alert, he did.
We're just discussing.
Yeah, throughout this whole interaction, if you see a bunch of jump cuts, it's because it kept buffering and pausing, so just so you know.
We're having an intellectual conversation.
Well, that's fair, and that's why I hopped in.
Do that. No, we don't hold ancestors accountable. This is not something we do.
Should white people today though be held accountable for what they're letting happen and continue to do?
No.
So, good. So, let me ask you a key question real quick. So, do you think that white people back then are different from now?
The host is asking that question in the genuine belief that white people are still as bad as they've always been throughout time.
Oh, yes and no, because there are still some people who agree with it, and there's still some people who disagree with it. So yes and no.
So can we agree that in the 1985 or 90s, 30s, whatever, that white men can unalive us and get away with it? Can we agree with that?
Ah, yes. Retroactively applying past injustices to today's standards. Black racists tend to do that a lot.
I've noticed a pattern with them in these lives. They literally come on these lives and dictate it for at least 5-10 minutes, and they're just speaking nonsense. Like, I don't get why they get so much airtime. Like, the fact that they're saying stuff like they don't think, they should be held accountable, their ancestors.
So when you are engaging in certain lifestyles, I think it makes it extremely difficult to then blame it on race, because you are now giving the racists, let's call them.
A super king, everything has to do with race, because that's the way they designed the system. So whether the guy was a criminal or whether he wasn't a criminal, we live in the UK and we specifically have oppressive laws that deals with us. They're called PACE laws, PACE.
Yeah, PACE is basically stop and search. It is not race specific even in the slightest. Even I've been stopped and searched.
Those are oppressive laws against black people.
You guys need to get your facts correct, because you're making some wild statements. It was brought up by the host as an example. So I just gave some clarification. So I just gave some clarification into the case itself. He was a criminal.
Okay, let's leave that case aside.
So
what do I practice and preach? Could you clarify?
A lot of hate against black women in particular.
This is disgusting. You're a liar.
I'm not.
You are a liar.
How many times have you seen this, where someone else can't refute what the other person is saying, so they resort to slander? Be careful now. You don't want them to take your black card away.
I don't really want to have a conversation with him, because I could call people right who who come and expose his hypocrisy.
Call whoever you like, sir.
You could call me a liar.
My daughter said something to me the other day, and she said, "Mom,
guys, we have to stay on topic."
Of the things that you say, of which it projects. Because I've heard you, just like Incanito has said, I've heard you on many other lives also. And I would agree with Incanito. There's a lot of stuff that you say, a lot of perspectives that you come with, that, as Sister Joy says, yeah, you look like us, but you just look like us.
How utterly revolting is that? You don't think like us, so basically you're not black. Wow.
So, but
could you afford us with an example?
I haven't finished. So don't join in. Don't join in. I haven't finished. So, to the point itself, are white people accountable for their ancestors? No, they're not accountable for their ancestors. What they're accountable for is their actions now. What they're accountable for is their ideology now. If they are holding the same ideologies that their ancestors didn't believe, that those of color should be oppressed because they're just black and because we're different.
Hardly any single fucking white person thinks that way. But his assumption that we all do is very fucking racist.
And obviously we have an issue of a generational hatred towards us.
Hold on one
If I
second.
could just finish, please.
So what you're saying
I
is,
expect my children.
One mic.
To behave in a certain way. Now, if they are behaving lawfully and respectfully, and something happens, then we are all up in arms.
Super.
Yep. Super King is on point.
If they are
But
behaving
him
in a
driving that car,
and
brother.
unruly behavior, then you can't expect positivity.
Has that flag in your name?
That's where I'm from.
What's your age and race, sir?
I'm 20. I'm black.
All right. Why do you have a white person on your profile?
He's Richard Feynman, he's a physicist, and I study and enjoy physics.
Hey, what's your thoughts on the topic, bro?
Are white people accountable for their ancestor? Well, it just depends what you mean by that. Is that in the sense that should we punish the white people today for what has been done in the past? No. I don't believe that should be done.
Why not?
Because that could lead to a cascade of moral issues.
Exactly. Hate breeds hate. It has to stop somewhere.
For example, if that's the case, then people could make the argument that, for example, if they look at my family history and maybe there's an
Cascade of moral what?
Pardon?
You said cascade of moral what?
Moral principles that would cause a lot of moral issues. For example, someone might say that if that's the case, they might look.
Racist black people tend to do that a lot as well, where they'll just belligerently and ignorantly just laugh off any kind of concept that they don't either understand or want to accept. Because they hate white people that much that they just want to point their fingers at white people for as many things as possible.
Down my history and say, oh look, you have an ancestor who committed X crime, therefore you should now be punished for it because that ancestor wasn't punished for it. Do you get it? So I don't think that's good.
Brother, I don't get that, bro.
Because we need to keep moral continuity in society.
No, we don't.
Why
do we have to? Because look at
if we don't need to keep moral continuity, then the white person can use that against you by saying, well, then that's why I treat you the way I do, because I don't need to keep my moral principles constant.
They do that to us now. We didn't do anything to them. Black would have never done anything to white people, bro.
Exactly. So
now, why do we have to play the moral grounds, the high moral grounds?
Because that's how societies are supposed to function and continue.
But that's not how society functions, so let's be real.
Go ahead, Incognito.
Yeah, you talk about morals, bro.
Yeah.
And it's an honorable thing to bring up morals. But the people who are immoral,
Us evil white people, of whom are evil by default because we're white.
If we're talking about morals, then we can start by the government, particularly the UK government, paying us reparations. We can start there.
I personally believe that if we're going to receive any form of reparations, it should be in the form of allowing black children to be able to not have, like, it shouldn't be in the sense that black children are disadvantaged compared to white children in education. I believe the reason that is.
Let me ask him something real quick. So, Tanzania. Let's talk about Tanzania, right? Bro, I don't know what you're saying. Just stay on mute. He sounded
speaking about reparations. We speak about repatriations, a returning of our goods, and a true state of independence given to countries that have been given this false sense of independence since the 60s, come right down to the modern day.
So, can I answer your question before I leave?
Yeah, go ahead.
What was the only two things that white people created? The only two things. They only created two things in the world.
Construction.
No. Racism and credit.
That's a lie.
Officers, judges,
racism and credit.
My point is, bro, because the topic's not about if you were an indigenous person. It's just that when y'all people do that, bro, it seems like y'all participate in culture erasure for the indigenous people that were over here, bro.
You talking about the Native Americans?
Yeah, bro, but
the Siberians,
bro. See, that's
culture erasure. No, but on the real though, bro, they not even
them Siberians culture erasure, bro.
But that's not true, bro, because I've done my genealogy.
Can we stop the indigenous erasure, please? Can we please stop that? Can we please stop that?
Then why y'all trying to erase my indigenous?
The $5 Indian certificate does not work here.
Oh my God. Pause to read.
It doesn't work here.
You said it, not me.
You are not indigenous to this land, bro. You are in some way, shape, or form.
How can you tell me I'm not indigenous to this land?
You are a descendant of chattel slavery, bro.
That's a lie.
It's okay. It's okay.
I've done my genealogy, obviously.
And now for your viewing pleasure, some of the most ultra racist comments that were flowing in the, comment thread thing. Have a look. I should clarify here, Mooney was a black person of whom joined the panel and gave a little bit of pushback. Just a little bit of pushback. And someone in the comments just thought that she was tap dancing for the white man or some shit.